the bustling town of Jaipur, nestled among the vibrant colors and aromatic spices of Rajasthan, there lived a humble shoemaker named Arjun. Arjun was a skilled craftsman, known throughout the town for the quality and durability of his shoes. However, despite his talent, he was struggling to make ends meet. The economy had taken a downturn, and people were buying fewer shoes. Arjun's workshop, a small, cozy place filled with the scent of leather and the rhythmic sound of a hammer, was often empty. He lived with his wife, Meera, in a modest house at the end of a lively street. Meera, a kind and optimistic woman, always supported Arjun through the toughest times. One evening, as the sun set over the pink city, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, Arjun sat by the window, counting the last of his coins. "Meera," he said, his voice heavy with worry, "we only have enough money to buy leather for one more pair of shoes. What will we do after that?" Meera placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "Have faith, Arjun. You are a gifted shoemaker. Something good will come our way." With Meera's encouraging words echoing in his heart, Arjun decided to use his last piece of leather wisely. He stayed up late into the night, cutting and stitching, pouring his heart into crafting the finest pair of shoes he had ever made. Exhausted, he left the unfinished shoes on the workbench and went to bed, hoping for a miracle. The next morning, as the first rays of sunlight crept into the workshop, Arjun was greeted with an astonishing sight. There, on his workbench, stood a perfectly crafted pair of shoes. The leather was polished to a gleaming finish, and the stitches were so fine that they seemed almost invisible. Arjun called Meera to witness the miracle. "Look, Meera. Someone finished the shoes for me while we were asleep. They are exquisite," he exclaimed, unable to believe his eyes. Meera inspected the shoes with admiration. "These are the finest shoes I have ever seen. We must put them in the shop window and see if they attract any buyers." Arjun placed the shoes in the window, and by noon, a wealthy merchant happened to pass by. The merchant was so impressed by the quality of the shoes that he bought them for a handsome price, leaving Arjun with enough money to buy leather for 2 more pairs. That evening, Arjun cut the leather for 2 more pairs of shoes, left them on the workbench, and retired to bed, still puzzled by the events of the previous night. Once again, the following morning, Arjun found not 2 but 3 pairs of beautifully crafted shoes on his workbench. Each pair was more exquisite than the last, and the craftsmanship was beyond anything Arjun had seen. The shoes quickly sold, and soon, Arjun and Meera began to rise out of their financial struggles. Business was booming, and Arjun could not keep up with the demand for his shoes. But the mystery of the nighttime shoemakers continued to intrigue Arjun and Meera. They decided to uncover the identity of their secret helpers. One night, after setting up the leather pieces as usual, they hid behind a curtain in the workshop, waiting to catch a glimpse of their mysterious benefactors. At the stroke of midnight, they heard a faint rustling sound. To their amazement, 2 tiny elves, dressed in tattered clothes, appeared out of nowhere. They set to work, stitching and sewing with incredible speed and precision. Within a few hours, the elves had completed several pairs of shoes. Arjun and Meera watched in awe, realizing that these tiny creatures were the source of their newfound prosperity. The next day, Arjun and Meera decided to show their gratitude to the elves. They wanted to repay their kindness and help them in return. Meera suggested, "The elves' clothes were so worn and tattered. Let's make them new clothes and tiny shoes as a token of our appreciation." Together, they gathered the finest materials they could afford and spent the day sewing beautiful clothes and shoes for the elves. Arjun crafted delicate leather shoes, while Meera stitched tiny outfits from colorful fabrics, adding intricate embroidery to each piece. That night, instead of leaving leather on the workbench, they placed the clothes and shoes as gifts for the elves. Then they hid behind the curtain once more, eager to see the elves' reaction. As midnight approached, the elves appeared as usual. When they saw the gifts, their eyes widened with surprise and joy. They quickly tried on the new clothes and shoes, dancing around the workshop with glee. Arjun and Meera stepped out from their hiding place and thanked the elves for their help. "You have transformed our lives with your kindness," Arjun said. "Please accept these gifts as a token of our gratitude." The elves beamed at them, and with a twinkle in their eyes, they bowed deeply and disappeared into the night, never to return. But Arjun and Meera were no longer worried. The elves had given them more than prosperity. They had taught them the value of gratitude and the importance of helping others. With the elves gone, Arjun and Meera continued to run their shoemaking business. Arjun's skills had improved significantly, inspired by the elves' craftsmanship. His reputation spread far and wide, attracting customers from neighboring towns and cities. The business flourished, and Arjun and Meera became well-respected members of their community. They used their newfound wealth to help those in need, just as the elves had helped them. They opened a small school to teach shoemaking to young apprentices, passing on the skills they had honed and the values they cherished. The couple never forgot the magical nights when the elves had transformed their lives. They would often share their story with others, reminding them of the power of kindness, gratitude, and the joy of giving back. As the years went by, Arjun and Meera lived happily, their lives enriched by the lessons they had learned and the love they shared. And though the elves were never seen again, their legacy lived on in the hearts of all those who heard their tale. In the vibrant streets of Jaipur, the story of Arjun, Meera, and the magical elves became a legend, a timeless reminder that even the smallest acts of kindness can lead to the greatest rewards. This story blends the classic themes of the elves and the shoemaker with an Indian setting, creating a tale that highlights the importance of gratitude, kindness, and the power of community support. If you like the story, then subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.